Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. So today we're going to be talking about the Help to Grow scheme, and we've got lots of really fascinating people here on the call today to answer your questions, and this is being recorded, so you will be able to access it afterwards if you need to sort of dash off. So we've got Lee here from the Federation of Small Businesses, we've got George from Coventry University, we've got Ian, who's going to be talking about the content and benefits to small businesses. And then we've also got Claire, who's been through the programme. And then we've got a short video to show you at the end. So please do use the question and answers functionality. If you do think of something, pop it in there and we'll pick it up at the end. But I'm now going to hand over to Lee Osborne from the Federation of Small Businesses.
Thanks, Holly. I just wanted to share my screen and provide a bit of an overview about the FSB and a couple of the campaigns that we've got running currently and a bit about our membership as well. So the FSB website is accessible to all small businesses and provides information on a number of campaigns and the work that we're currently doing to help benefit small businesses and the self-employed. So we work with policymakers and politicians at every level across the UK to raise awareness of the issues affecting our members and campaign for changes on these issues. So a couple of the information sources which are very much top of the agenda currently that I wanted to highlight include our Small Business Sustainability Hub. Now these can be accessed via our website, as I say, accessible to all small businesses at fsb.org.uk. You will see the Small Business Sustainability Hub comes up at the top as one of our main kind of work streams currently. So the Sustainability Hub is regularly updated with the latest resources, tools and information to help your small business prepare for changes and to be more sustainable. Now, as you can see, there's a wealth of information and resources in here. FSB members can download a guide to find out how they can start their journey to net zero, containing practical advice on how they can make a difference and reduce their carbon footprint. Also on here is a link to the Zero Carbon Business Portal, which is set up by the Broadway Initiative and supported by a whole host of kind of business representative organisations and bodies, including the FSB, and that provides a real wealth of kind of information and support to businesses, including a carbon footprint calculator, sector-specific information, and other guides and links to local support as well. And also on here, you'll see our report, which contains a number of recommendations to government and local government to help small businesses on their journey to net zero, but also information about our key findings and data from member surveys around this issue as well. And again, there's more information on this hub as well. So as I say, that's accessible to all small businesses via our website. The other one that I wanted to touch on really was our Recovery Ready website or hub. That's been on the website for quite a while, but still worth having a look at and accessing. Obviously, with a number of challenges currently being faced by small businesses and rising costs on the horizon, this provides resources and guides to help tackle those issues and help businesses grow over the next period. So there's information on here about moving on from COVID, some articles, blogs and guides around that. Information about how small businesses can grow their network through FSB events. And again, these events are open to both members and non-members and can range from our regular monthly networking, of which we hold a number within Coventry and Warwickshire, including the first Wednesday of each month, the Coventry networking event, and on the first Thursday of each month, a Warwick and Leamington event. And then we also host business support events as well, like this one, but also, as we can see on the screen there, around video marketing, securing PR for your business, and another one coming up in February around key strategies to profitable business growth. So our events page or events tab at the top of the FSB website will take you to all our events, and they're all searchable by region, geography and also topic as well. So if you're looking for something specific, or close to you, they should be searchable on our events tab. Information on here about managing your cash flow, which is obviously critical at the minute, and guides around being ready for the unexpected. So looking at business continuity and building your brand and protecting it in a crisis. So information from our FSB insurance partners and our FSB PR and crisis management service as well. And then also on here is information on starting your own business. So if you're just starting out or know somebody that is, there's information here ranging from the fundamentals around what is a business plan through to how to register a new business, but also case studies from businesses that have started out during the pandemic and the restrictions. And there's a link there to our dedicated startup hub as well. And at the bottom of this page, if you're not a member of the FSB, there's information on our membership benefits and ways in which you can join, including booking a virtual meeting or speaking to an advisor to learn more about how membership can benefit your business. If you are a member, please don't forget your membership benefits, and these can be accessed on the top right-hand corner of the FSB website. There's a box there saying My FSB. So if you type in your username and password, that brings you to the back area of the website, to the member area, and lists all your member benefits, including our legal hub, which provides an excess of 750 legal documents to choose from. So covering our key legal, HR, tax, and health and safety issues that you might encounter when running your own business. Our legal protection scheme, which gives you access to our legal helplines and access to a solicitor 24 hours a day. There's things on here like FSB Care, which if you're having a serious physical and mental health condition, you'll get access to a personal nurse to help you with those issues as well. And as I say, our insurance service and crisis management service are on there as well, along with things like free business banking through the co-op and debt recovery, which will assist you in recovering money owed to your business as well. So please don't forget that that's there, and take advantage of your membership benefits if you are a member. So that was a quick overview of our website. And again, if you're not a member, there's the Join Us tab there as well. But please do take a look at the FSB website. Majority of it is accessible to members and non-members, with a huge range of information on there for small businesses and the self-employed.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Lee. And as a business owner myself, I found it to be an invaluable resource of just templates you can download and signposting to things. That's one of the reasons why the FSB wanted to put on this webinar today, to actually show you what business support is out there. So in my role, I'm a voluntary role. I'm the West Midlands Regional Chair. So I would highly recommend getting involved in the Help to Grow scheme. So to tell us a little bit more about it, we've now got Coventry University, and we have George just giving us a bit more of an overview and what it actually is.
George, I think you're on mute.
You're muted, George.
And there I was waxing eloquent. All right, yeah, over the next few minutes, I'll just talk briefly about what Help to Grow is, some of the modules, and then give you a contact number if you have any more questions, and then a couple of start dates. My name is George Akomas. I'm the course director, supervising the mentoring and the teaching on the program. Next slide, please. Slide after that. Okay, so why Help to Grow? These small and medium enterprise number dropped by 6.5% between 2020 and 2021. And when you compare the productivity of UK SMEs to their counterparts in France and Germany, we find that we're not at par. And this is a bit worrisome because we know that SMEs account for about 3/5 of the employment in the UK, for about 99% of the business population, and about 50% of the turnover in the private sector. So in a 2019 review, the UK government discovered that one of the key drivers for productivity is management know-how, management skills. And that's why they came up with the Help to Grow program. Next slide. All right, next. And next. So this program was designed with the leading business schools in the UK, of which Coventry University is one of them. And they've come up with this 3-month curriculum of 12 modules. But beyond the delivery of just this program, Coventry University wants to be more involved in the local community. We are part of the community, and we believe that we should be able to network with local businesses and support them, give them access to the wealth of knowledge and information in the university. So beyond the program, after the program ends, we have an alumni group with which we hope to continue to network and find out what's going on in the businesses. We're looking at schemes where we can get students involved in your businesses and vice versa. We are looking at having more networking events that you can be a part of. And then if there's anything that can influence the research we do in the university, or any problem that we can help you solve, we're looking at developing that relationship to the point where we can do that. Next slide. So there are 4 groups or 4 points of contact when you come onto the program. Next slide. You have the admin group, which supports you in registering, supports the mentoring. If you have any questions, any struggles, they'll also help you support you through that, making sure you're able to assess the material. If you miss any of the weeks, find out what's going on and how you can get back on. Next. Then you have the program itself, the lectures, which are in 4 different parts. The first part, strategies for growth and innovation, focuses on business, creating business value, your business value proposition, and looking at business models and strategies to help you position that value. It also looks at digital adoption and how innovation can help you get to the next level. The second part looks at engaging with your customers, both internally and externally. We'll look at how to build a very strong brand, how to craft a good vision and mission statement, how to improve your culture to improve productivity and growth. The third part looks at building a sustainable and agile business and focuses on leadership and how you can build a business that's not just resilient, but agile and able to respond to the changing times we find ourselves in. The last but not least is operations and financial strategies, which looks at improving the efficiency of your business, both in terms of operations and finances. So this is done over 3 months. Every 3rd week, so week 3, week 6, week 9, and week 12 are 4-hour case studies. The others are over 2 hours. Next slide. So after the lectures, we have the peer-to-peer sessions, which I like to call little fellowships. So we break it down to smaller groups of 4 to 6 people, where we talk about what we did the week before, and you share best practices among yourselves, or what has worked for one person or what didn't work for somebody else. Basically feed off each other's energy, trying to build that little connection within yourselves, like a mini networking event every week following the lectures. Next. And then we have the mentoring. The government is paying mentors, business coaches, people who are experts in various areas, 10 hours to help you solve your problems or solve a major problem. So when you come on the program, we try to understand what the most pressing need you have is and pair you with a mentor who's an expert in that area. And they'll spend 10 hours with you trying to craft your growth plan, which is the key thing you will leave with after those 12 weeks. A very clear plan as to what your issue was and how you plan to solve it and by when. Next. So these things are not in isolation. These 4 groups working with each other to ensure that we have we keep on improving on what we're offering, because remember, the content is delivered across the UK, but we are trying to make sure that what we are giving you, I'm trying not to say the best in the country, but that is useful to you. So next, what happens in the lecture feeds directly into the peer-to-peer sessions. So you have these workbooks that you take away and what was discussed in the class. And in your peer-to-peer sessions, you look at who has done what, who's struggling with what, and help each other out. It also keys directly into the mentoring sessions. So you talk to your mentor about what you learned that week. If there's anything you're not clear about, they'll help you with it, and they'll help you try to fit that into your growth plan. Next. What happens in the peer-to-peer sessions too can also filter into the mentoring sessions. Next. Well, we're also keen on having, next. having what's discussed in the peer-to-peer sessions and what happens in the mentoring sessions, feeding back to the admin team. So if there's any extra material that you need, if there's something that's not clear, if there's extra help that you need, we're able to take that next and feed that into either the next cohort or in creating extra content for you to support you. So that's a summary of the program and how it operates. We have a couple of dates coming up. These are the next dates we have for Coventry, for London, Yorkshire and Humber, and for Shropshire. As these dates come closer, we have other dates. It's a 3-year program. I think has been extended for another year. And the government is trying to get 30,000 businesses through this program. Next slide. So if anyone has any questions, next slide, you can ask now or email or call the numbers on your screen, and we'll be more than glad to help.
Amazing, thank you. In fact, there is one question just come in. I don't know whether you could answer that now. Is there any kind of criteria that a business has to fit to be able to go through this program?
Yes, currently you have to have been in business for at least 1 year, registered for at least 1 year, and have a minimum of 5 employees and not an NGO.
Brilliant, thank you very much. I'm sure there'll be other questions that come through, but thank you. So we're going to move on to Ian, who is working on the Help to Grow scheme. So over to you, Ian. Oh, you're on mute as well.
Thank you. So a bit about me to begin with. So yes, I lead on delivering some of the content on the Help to Grow scheme. I also do some of the peer-to-peer groups. So I lead on the Coventry speaking bit. I do some of the peer-to-peer groups for those who are on the London cohorts. And I also do some mentoring for one of those peer-to-peer groups as well. So I've had some experience on the various elements of delivery. As well as that, I'm a business owner, so and a member of the Federation of Small Businesses. So I've been running my own business since I was at school, and I've been in active engagement with the FSB for 10 years, involved in working with government departments locally and nationally on helping the small business community. So fairly wide range of business experience, which has been very useful in delivery on this. So how do I see this course? Why do I see it as beneficial? Why was I excited to be part of the delivery team? Key thing, I think, is it's a very practical, hands-on course. This isn't an abstract MBA where you do all the business theory and then at the end of it have to then go away and start thinking about how to apply this in your business. From the get-go, it's about stuff you're learning in class. You directly, even in those classes, have discussions in small groups and so on, where you get to apply that in your business. One of the other key benefits is the peer-to-peer time, and just those time, even in the group session, the workshop sessions, when you discuss with your peers the challenges facing you, the challenges facing them, you learn from each other, you discover that you're not alone in some of the challenges you're facing. And I think as business owners, we can often feel very alone. So there's a real opportunity in the way this course is structured to help you learn from each other and to learn from the person who's speaking's experience and practically apply that in your business. So that's really beneficial. And then the mentoring element of it takes those learning points and the sort of start of that journey into working, well, what are my key outcomes of this? How can I apply this in your business? And puts that practical business growth plan together. So it pulls those strands together and say, right, what actions are you going to do? And gives that accountability. And just a sounding board, again, as a business owner leader, you can often not have anybody that you're not also worrying about what they might think about what you're saying, because there might be a customer, there might be a supplier, there might be a fellow senior management team member, whatever else they might be. The advantage of that mentor is they've got no connection to you. They can just be a pure listening board for you to bounce ideas off, see where you're struggling, go through some of those challenges, and then work on that practical action plan about how you're going to take your business forwards. One of the other things we've been quite keen to emphasize is much about your personal development. You know, how does your business support your journey as well? Where do you want to be in 5 years' time? So talking through your business growth plans, but also your personal growth plan as well. So very practical, lots of opportunities to discuss, real opportunity to engage with your peers and learn from them. So where do I see the key benefits of people coming on this course? What do businesses really benefit from? You're working on your business. So many of us, especially in the last 2 years, have been very much focused on firefighting, dealing with the day-to-day, just dealing with all the challenges we've had to go through. This is a real opportunity to refocus on working on your business. Secondly, you're setting some time aside each week to work on your business. And I encourage all the people coming on the course to say, keep that time in your diary, some time each week when you work on your business. And it's giving you those practical tools to work on your business. We look at a real range of practical tools to help you work on that. It gives you a structured approach. Many of us came into business not as those who've done an MBA or done a business degree, but because we were good at what we did. In my case, I'm a web designer. That was my skill. I've learned all the stuff about business on the hoof as I've done it. And what I found doing something like this myself in the past, and then now teaching it, it gives you the opportunity to give some structure to the way you approach running your business, which often we don't have. It therefore fills in some of the gaps in your knowledge. You might be very good at accounts, but you're not very good at vision, mission, and purpose, or you're very good at sales, but you're not so good at operational excellence. So it allows you to think about different aspects. Some of the bits of the course, you go, I can do that. That bit I'm strong on. Other bits you'll go, this is something I really need to work on because it's just something I've not really addressed beforehand. And it takes the sort of business, gives you those business skills rather than what you do skills. So most of us are really good at making sure we're the best at what we do in our businesses and train ourselves and develop on that. But perhaps let's spend less time focusing on developing our business operational management leadership skills. And this course gives you that real opportunity. Overall, in terms of structure, I would say, you've got your teaching, as has already been alluded to, then you've got your peer learning, so you double opportunity to learn, and then you've got the practical, how are we going to implement this through that mentor bit, and that all blends together really nicely to make sure you get some practical outcomes of the course. And in terms of how the content of the course breaks up, as has already been mentioned, but I would say the first two bits very much focus on the external of your business. How do you reach out to markets? How do you appear to customers? All of those sort of things. And then the second bit focuses very much on the internal. How do you make sure you've got the right business processes, operational structure, way you engage with your team, all of those things from an internal perspective, so that if you get a load of new customers as you seek to grow your business, you've got the right processes in place to make sure you can service them well as well. So it looks at the full picture of how you can make your business successful. So hopefully that's giving you a bit of insight into how you benefit, what practical outcomes you will see, and how the course will operate for you. I really, would recommend it, not just because I'm one of the speakers on the course, but just because as I've gone through the material, as I sought to deliver it, I've really gained benefit from it for my own business. So I can sort of see the practical applications by me just taking some of what I've been delivering and applying it. Most of it I knew, but we're all very bad at sometimes applying that, working on our business. And this is a really good reminder just for me as well, that I need to spend that time working on your business.
And the question that's come through, actually, which you might be able to answer, Ian, what sort of time commitment do people need to do outside of the course?
I would say you've obviously got, the actual workshops themselves. You've got the peer-to-peer sessions. So that's taking about 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours a week. And then you probably need to allocate the same 2 to 4 hours a week to work on the workbooks and the practical application in your business if you're going to see full benefit. Either you need to do it during the course, you certainly need to do some of that. I would say the other key vital thing is keep that time blocked out in your diary after the course finishes, so you can work through applying this in your business. So it's not just about the 12 weeks while the course is on, it's about 12 weeks afterwards when you apply all the stuff you've been developing in your growth plan. It's probably as well one of those, your last mentoring meetings may be a couple of weeks after the main course is finished, so you get somebody to accountability check to make sure you're practically putting it into place as well.
Really good advice, thank you very much. So moving on to a case study business, we have Claire with us, who's just going to give an overview of her business, why she enrolled and kind of what she got out of it. So over to you, Claire.
Thank you. So I run an activewear business specialising in maternity and breastfeeding suitable activewear, and I started working on it about 2 years prior to doing the course and launched about just shy of a year and a half prior to starting the course. My background's marketing, but in financial services. So although that was an area of strength, it was not, it's been quite a learning curve to apply that to the new business. And the business has grown quite rapidly, and unexpectedly so, really, although I definitely felt obviously there was a gap in the market. And that had brought challenges. I have made quite a number of costly mistakes in hindsight along the way, as probably lots of us do. And I had a lot of ideas of things I sort of had in my head where I wanted the business to go, but not really the time and the focus to really sit down and the guidance, I suppose, to do that properly. So when the opportunity came to join the course, I was obviously really pleased to go and do it. And because that also timed in with me launching into a national retailer. So it's quite a kind of pivotal moment for where the business, was going, and particularly where it's going to kind of go to, hopefully, over the next couple of years. So I was pleased to be accepted on, because obviously I'm fairly new, still quite small in terms of people, generating quite good turnover, but the profit side of things is challenging. So what the course really gave me, I feel like I'm going to repeat a few of the things that Ian has said now, but it was taking that time out of the business, because particularly when you run a small business, and we were quite varied in terms of, some of the companies had like 50 people and some had just a handful. So you're quite varied in terms of how involved you get in different things. And certainly, as you'll know, if you're on the smaller end of the scale, you get involved in everything. And that can then be really difficult to get that kind of clarity over where you're going next. So to have that time out was really important. And one of the things that Ian, he said it today, and I'd written it down because you said it so many times when we were on the course, but it's about getting that idea of where you want to go, but how that fits in with your life. So I've got 3 children that are still in primary school, and there's a part of me that goes, right, I want this to be huge and really kind of push it, but actually, how does that fit with my life and my family? And so getting a little bit of clarity on your direction as well, because there's no right or wrong answer about where you choose to take your business to. Like I said, my background was marketing. So that was, I felt like, my stronger point. But even going through the marketing modules again was really useful, because I think it gives you a bit of clarity over the things you maybe already know, but sometimes you can take for granted that you're doing the right thing. So to either kind of give you a little nudge in the right direction, or to confirm that what you're doing is the right thing. And then I think really about learning the things that you don't know. And there's a huge amount within the business, that I don't know. So looking at international expansion, for example, that's like one of my focuses for this year, giving some answers and sort of some guidance around that. That was one module, so it gives you some kind of clarity around how that works, but also then is pointing me in the right direction of where to get more advice and support, if that's an area that, it is for my business to go down. And I think also that peer-to-peer, as Ian mentioned, is really, really important, because we were really varied businesses, but you all take something from each other. And it was weird, because I felt I was able to give advice to someone whose business I had no idea about. Some of them were a world away from what I do. And likewise, I was getting advice from people. And actually, every time you're listening to someone else's challenge or how someone's solving that, you're learning from that. So it's really invaluable, that side of things. I was also given a really good mentor. And initially I was a bit skeptical, because her background was marketing, and I thought, well, that's my background, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to get from this, probably already know. But actually sitting with her and pulling all the ideas apart and really kind of putting a plan together of all these things that are in my head, that I can't even tell you how helpful that was. And it sounds really simple, but she just helped me to really clarify my thought processes and clarify some of my plans. You know, some of the areas are things that I would maybe come back to later. So the stuff around organizational structure, for example, is a little bit less relevant to me at the moment, but it's good to know all that stuff and know where to get the resource to come back to at some point later. And I think as well, as Ian said just now, about continuing to block that time out of my diary. I now have every Thursday morning, apart from today, because I've been taking kids off for PCR tests this morning, but every Thursday morning is my business time to focus on the business. And once a month I meet one of the other guys now that I was on the course with, who happens to live up the road from me, and we both run retail businesses. So we now meet up for a coffee one morning a month, just to kind of go through what we're working on and keep us both a little bit focused, and again get that benefit of the peer-to-peer. But it's made me block that time out. The other thing I'd say it's made me do, and maybe this is an obvious point to some people, but it's really made me focus on the work I do and what drives revenue, because I was really getting pulled into things that perhaps really weren't that valuable to the business, because there's so many voices shouting. It's kind of, you know, it's very easy to get distracted. And so I'm much more focused now on the things that are going to bring customers to me and buying stuff. So yeah, that's probably it in a nutshell. I'm happy to answer any questions.
That's really, really good feedback, Claire. Thank you so much for that. There is one question that's coming. There's a business that's interested, but they're not really quite sure who to send on it. So do you think just anyone on the senior leadership team, or do you think it should be a director? What would your thoughts be on that?
Personally, I think you get more out of it if you're a bigger company and you're, you know, on the senior team and therefore, you know, influencing strategy, then yes, absolutely. But smaller, I'd say you need to, I think, really be the managing director of the business, ideally, or the owner. That would be my personal view. But certainly, senior leadership team in a slightly bigger organisation, if they have that influence.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you very much. And hopefully now, if the tech works, we do have a short video that Lee's going to play, which is another case study from Paul that's also been through the Help to Grow programme. That's where I say run VT.
Hi, my name's Paul. I'm the Managing Director and co-founder of Mr. and Mrs. Clark Estate Agency. I attended the Help to Grow course last year, and I found it to be hugely beneficial to the running of my business, to the growth plans of our business, and also me personally and my personal development as a business leader. It was an opportunity for me to take a day out of the working week. It felt slightly indulgent at the start, but actually to take a day out of the business. So I would take the whole of Wednesday to work on the growth plan of Mr. and Mrs. Clark. The afternoon I would attend lectures, which were brilliantly led with superb lecturers, superb content, also to be in a room with other business leaders who were really inspiring from a real diverse backgrounds of businesses, diverse industries, was inspiring, was educating in itself, just being amongst other great people. And then also I would spend time with my mentor, who was excellent, was a great listener, who gave great advice, but again it was an opportunity for me to focus on the growth plans of our business. And then there was the peer-to-peer sessions led brilliantly by George, and a small sort of seminar environment for a few of us to talk about what we learned in the lectures, and how we were going to apply it to our business. So it felt a bit like being back at university, but it was focused on practical advice and real day-to-day growth plans and how we could put them into what we do in our business. So I can't recommend it enough. It's been hugely beneficial to me, our business, and the people within our business. And I wish you all the luck if you do attend.
Fabulous. And a question just quickly for George. So you popped up the dates of the next few cohorts. There's someone that's looked at the dates and they already know that they can't do them. Is it worth registering anyway, because there will be more and more cohorts coming?
Yes. Get in touch with the admin team. Have a conversation with them. For a lot of people, it's a struggle to make that time out. But once you have that conversation, you might find that you actually meet up with this cohort. If you miss one or two, it's not a problem. They're recorded, and we're glad to talk with you afterwards, to work with you through the material. And if by any chance you can't meet that for sure, there are other dates that come up and they can easily put you into one of those other ones.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. So we've been answering questions as we've been going along. I can't actually see any other ones.
Holly, can I just come in on the question you raised earlier about, who's best to go on it? So yes, larger organisations with a senior management team, absolutely, the SMT board members could go on it. But has been said, definitely I would agree that smaller businesses, business owner, one of the interesting things that has come up though is often the business owner is perhaps thinking about exit and has sent the person who they've got lined up for taking over the business or leading the business when they perhaps step back into the chair of the board type role. And it's been really interesting talking for them, working through the course as well, perhaps filling in their gaps of skills, but also helping them to start think about their relationship with that business owner and how that exit strategy is going to work, or how they're going to hand over, whether they've said they've handed over, but they haven't really, because they're still controlling the decisions, and how they're going to manage upwards. So if your business is going through that transition as well, it's a really useful program to go through for businesses that are looking at transition of ownership, a transition of leadership from perhaps the business owner to somebody who's come up through the ranks in the business. All of those sort of things it can be really helpful for as well, and leads to some interesting discussions.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just had a question from Jules come up. I don't know who wants to take this. They're under the 5 employee thresholds. So is there a way that they can access it anyway?
One of the things I would say is look at the full extent of what team you manage, because sometimes if you're using freelancers or contractors or a freelance PA or those sort of things, actually the team size that you're managing can often be more than 5 people. So it's a George, would I be right in saying we're flexible in terms of what we determine as an employee in that respect?
To an extent, we're still running by cabs, but we try as much as possible. We've also run upstairs that a lot of people who have fewer than 5 who are interested in the program, they are aware, and we are hoping that will be reviewed really soon. Like I said, give us a call. Yeah. We can advise you, see what you got, and like Ian said, look at the larger team.
Absolutely, really good advice. So we've answered all the questions. So I'm just going to thank everyone for taking their time today. This recording will be available if you want to check back and watch it again. So do speak to Coventry University, and I would highly recommend getting on the scheme. It can really help you scale and grow your business. So thank you very much for joining us today, and look forward to seeing you on another webinar soon.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Bye.